This is my audience. My name is Zoey Green, and I will be doing a persuasive speech and giving information about how theme parks create an alternate reality when you go into them and make you forget about everything happening around you. Have you ever walked into a theme park and at some point felt like you entered a different reality? The feeling is intentional. Designers spend multiple years creating the environment for their guests to forget about the real world. They do this through visual illusion, psychology, and storytelling. So for visual, what they do is it's like all the props and everything around you that you see. It just makes the world feel very believable, because obviously when you're seeing so much of something, then it makes that feel really believable. Psychology is what the guests notice, so it kind of goes along with the visual, but also kind of like what you hear and what you see and stuff like that. And then the storytelling makes you feel like you are part of that experience through the characters and the costumes and the music in the line and stuff like that. They use forced perspective to make buildings, castles, and landmarks appear larger. Buildings have smaller upper floors to make them appear taller from the ground. So when you see the castles that on the ground, they start out super big, like the typical Disney castle that you see, and then it comes to like this really tall point. They do that on purpose to make it look taller than it actually is. Trees, walls, and landscaping are strategically placed to hide parking lots, roads, and backstage areas. Designers carefully choose colors, architecture, and scenery so guests never have to see anything that breaks the illusions. Every detail is planned to make visitors feel like they have stepped into another world. For example, if you go to Six Flags during Halloween, they have what's called Fright Fest. So they make it like this scary themed theme park, so it feels like basically you're in one big haunted house. So they have all the characters, like they run around and will slide on their knees at you to scare you, and they play all the scary music, and they have the fog going, and all of that stuff just to make it actually feel like you're in like basically a scary movie. And it makes you forget about like that you are at a theme park. Visual design changes what guests see, but psychology influences how they think and experience the park. Theme parks are designed using psychology to guide where guests walk and what they notice. Curved pathways naturally encourage people to keep exploring because they can't see everything ahead. So they do those curved pathways on purpose, so they kind of direct you to either like the concession stands or gift shops because they want you to spend money on all of those gifts that are extremely overpriced and you don't need. Or just to even like distract you from where the characters are going into when they get off maybe for the day, or if there's like they need to change their costume or something. They just want to direct you from all the backstage stuff so that way you don't notice it and it still feels like you are in this actual basically story. Music changes from one themed area to another to match the environment and create different emotions. Lighting, colors, sounds, and even scents help guests to feel relaxed, excited, or adventurous depending on where they are. So back to Fright Fest, like I said, how they use like the fog machines and all of that and the scary music and stuff. It just really helps to give you that like experience that you are in like a huge haunted house basically, and it feels like you're in real life, like being haunted, but obviously you're not because you're just at a theme park. Designers want guests to focus on the attractions instead of maintenance buildings or backstage areas. Like I said earlier, that's why you use curved pathways, so that way people don't notice any of that stuff, because if they do, it takes away from the whole experience of why they're actually there. People go to theme parks to get away from the real world and just have like a fun day or two depending on where you're going, not to make it feel like they're still at home experiencing whatever. Visual design and psychology create the setting, but storytelling is what makes guests feel like they are part of another world. Modern theme parks are built around stories instead of just rides. Guests both experiencing the story while waiting in line through decorations, music, props, and interactive elements. So when you're waiting in line, when it's 100 degrees and you're sweating and you're waiting for an hour, they want you to kind of forget about that. So sometimes they will do like shows on the side, so that way you focus on that, or they'll be playing music, so sometimes people will sing along to that. It's just really anything to help distract from the fact of what is actually going on and still make it feel like you are in that story and a part of that story. Employees and characters stay in character to make the experience feel real and more believable. Restaurants, gift shops, signs, and attractions all match the theme, so the story feels consistent everywhere guests go instead of simply watching a story. the guests become a part of it. So the characters, even if they're going to lunch or coming back from lunch, they always stay in costume just to make it feel real. And that is my presentation on how theme parks create an alternate reality. Am I done? Oh.
This is the audience.